Hello folks, you're catching us here today, making a little sponsored segment here that'll be coming up soon with the channel sponsor, of course, Rust. It'll be entitled The Futility of So-Called Anti-Rust Products, but that will be coming soon. We're not here to talk about channel sponsorship today. Now folks, today we're going to be talking to you about their plastic Panzer. And I have to avert my eyes here for a sec. Those terrible wheels. It's actually not so bad if I look at them in the screen, but if I look at them directly with unprotected eyes, I feel nauseous. And everything starts to grey out and my vision shrinks, and it ain't good. You should be safe because you're watching this through, cameras, internet, digitization, all that. But whatever you do, don't look at these things in real life. It's bad. Right. Now, I know what you're thinking. And you're pretty reasonable to think, Have you really gone and bought another car? Have I really gone and taken on yet another project? Yeah, okay, I did. But it was kind of accidental. Let me explain. See folks, this is the Panzer. Panzer is made from metal. This is the plastic Panzer. The plastic Panzer is mostly made from plastic. Metal, plastic. Metal, plastic. So why am I sitting in a 2008 black BMW E92 2-litre petrol with the ever reliable and top spec N43 B20A engine? As I said, I can explain. I did not really set out to buy this car. What happened was, I was innocently looking around online marketplace stuff, and I'm always looking in the kind of braking repairables and that kind of thing. I came across this car, and it was originally for sale for €2,000. That's way out of my league. And apparently the engine makes some kind of a rattling sound, and apparently that's bad. Well, I just scrolled on. But every week I kept coming back. And every week the price kept dropping. And every week nobody else was really interested in purchasing this pristine vehicle. About a month ago, I offered the guy €500, and he didn't accept that, and that's fine. The day before yesterday, he accepted it, and of course I'd completely forgotten about all this. So, got it transported here. It was in Ennis, County Clare. It was about 100 miles away. So it's 500 for the car and 150 for transport. And it comes with those horrific fake AC Schnitzer wheels. Yeah. So what's the plan? Well, I didn't actually have a plan. However, thanks to someone on Discord making what I believe was just a random off-the-cuff suggestion, we actually have a kind of an idea for what we're going to do here. So have I gone completely crazy? You're probably going to think so after this. However, the reverse engineering here continues unabated, and we've got quite a bit of success with our MG drive unit inverter here, which will be featuring in a very soon video for you. Very soon video, does that make sense? Don't know. Also, we have another victim here in the shape of a VW e-Golf inverter. And that's going to play a little bit of a role in our plan here that I've only been thinking about since yesterday evening. So I don't really need another EV project. I've plenty going on at the minute. Let's be fair, we have 3 vehicles on the road. With the Red Arrow here in the barn that we're working on. We have the Musco, which at the minute I can't really work on because some robins have made a nest under the bonnet and are currently hatching out eggs. We have the Mossy yacht, which will be coming up. That'll be getting the ZF gearbox. We've got the truck. And now we have the plastic Panzer. There's no point in me just doing more EV projects other than being able to integrate newer parts that I have into them and adding modules to the VCU and so on and getting the bugs out and proving all that stuff works. Now we need to do something a little bit different. And I think the time just might be right to give it a shot. We are going to attempt to do a free EV conversion. So this is going from the €1,000 EV conversion project, which wasn't quite. It was probably, realistically for most people, it would have been nearer $2,000 that we originally did on the Red Arrow. But now we're going to attempt with the plastic Panzer to do it for a net zero figure. They're all talking about net zero now. So let's try and figure out what exactly do we mean by that. Well, first thing about the plastic Panzer is that it's a reasonably modern and reasonably desirable vehicle from what I can see. So, we should be able to sell quite a few bits out of that vehicle. But, by and large, we're not going to make enough money back to pay for, let's say, a pretty typical collection of components, drivetrain, battery. It's probably going to cost you anything from about $3,000 to $5,000. But what if we could further cut the costs? What I meant by the time being right now is that we've actually got quite a lot of EV components going around. So we don't have to do what we did with the Red Arrow in the first place and go for, a DC forklift motor and a homemade controller and all that kind of thing. Instead, we can actually use OEM manufactured parts, but they're still going to be a little bit pricey. However, with the volume of OEM electric vehicles out there now and getting crashed and getting broken for parts and even being sold as salvage vehicles, I'm thinking about there's potentially 2 ways that we could achieve a net zero conversion. The first one, and it's the one that I'm most likely going to attempt here, is to use physically damaged parts. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, here on the bench, I have a motor, I believe from a 2019 e-Golf, which is absolutely electrically perfect, spins 100%, but the gearbox and the differential part of it was broken away during a crash of the vehicle. Thus, motors like that are pretty much being sold just for scrap or for spare parts. That motor there I purchased from EV Breakers in Northern Ireland for, it was £150, so let's call it €200. Likewise, the e-Golf inverter there has one of the brackets broken off on it. You'll be familiar with the MG Gen 2 charger that I was working on there. It's got one of its water coolant pipes broken off, and I think possibly one of the HV connectors broken off too. So what that means is that if we're careful, we take our time, we can actually find components quite cheaply. But we're still realistically, going to have a imbalance there in what we can sell from that vehicle. Like, even if it had a working internal combustion engine, which it does, but it's basically scrap. However, there's a lot of parts on that are prone to failure that fetch a reasonable amount of money. So what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days is researching that, getting as many of those parts photographed and getting them on both local, or I should say national, advertising, and probably a few of the ones that'd be easier to post up on eBay and stuff like that, so we can maximize how much money that we can pull back in on this thing. And then we'll see where we go in terms of what we can get back in. And it means I don't really have to do much to the car other than just take a few parts off as they actually sell. So that's going to be the plan. So that's not going to need me to be getting hugely involved with that, other than new logic board for our Volkswagen inverter here, because this is most likely going to be the drivetrain choice that we're going to use here. But there's another route that we could potentially take here that may actually work out better, and may actually work out better for you folks also. And that would be, as well as having our, let's call it, donor vehicle here that we can sell certain parts from, what if we went and purchased a crash damaged, salvage electric vehicle to use as a parts donor for our conversion project? We could then sell parts from that donor vehicle, things like interiors and lights and modules we don't need, and wheels and tires and whatever else that we could actually find. Now, I'm not in a position to do that, but what I do have is a 2011 Nissan Leaf that was donated to me completely for free. Now, we're not going to use the Leaf parts in the plastic Panzer build, but we certainly could. The reason I'm not going to use them is that I've already used that particular drivetrain in the Grey Goose, so there's no point in me really rinsing and repeating that. So we'll be going down the route of the e-Golf drivetrain for this car, but we could simply say that we were going to use the Leaf parts and sell off whatever parts from that Leaf that we can, and see how much money that we could ultimately make back. So this project is going to be a bit of a journey, folks. I'm not sure if we're going to win. We just might. And we might even have, like, we'll have, worst case, we've a deficit in there somewhere. But it'll be interesting in today's world to see, can we get near or close to near a net zero EV conversion? Okay, so what can we actually find here just on a very quick look through Done Deal here, which is just an Irish general classified website. So I just had a quick look in, as I'm inclined to do, having a look in the braking and repairables section. I just stuck in a Nissan Leaf, and the first one to jump out at me is, believe it or not, actually not that far away from me. It's 2014 crash damage Leaf, as you can see, for €1,900. 2014, 24 kilowatt hour, damage to the front, airbags not deployed. So you can see pretty much, looks like it got a side impact here. I'd say that probably still drives. Your charging port and all this will be good here on the front. I'd say the drivetrain and the battery and all that's perfect. I'd even say the doors are probably okay. Headlights are obviously gone, but I'd say you've got 4 good wheels, 4 good doors, tailgate, yeah, back end of it's fine. Yeah, inside of it looks fine. You know, you'll have seats, you'll have displays, steering wheels, instrument clusters, all this stuff's all, even today, is reasonably saleable. So I would imagine once you got your bits out of a car like that that you would need, you can sell off whatever you can sell off, and then just weigh in the shell for scrap. And even today, even in this country, I would say you'd have no problem beating that and actually ending up somewhat revenue positive. So just, if we do the same thing again here, just in case this was a one-off, and you know, this is just a random day. Today is the 20th of April 2024. If we go into the braking repairables here on this, and we just again, I'm just going to type in Leaf. Again, it's just the most common EV in this country. There we go. One just popped up there yesterday. Bit more expensive, this one. Let's see what we've got here. Light front damage, airbags okay. That one's actually less damaged, which is probably, I would imagine, why it's a bit more money. So about $3.5 grand for that one. But again, you've got everything there saleable. It's even got current tax and test on it. Let's see what else we can find. There's another one. 5 hours ago, this one pops up. $3 grand. 2014. It drives. Light panel damage. Blah de blah. Yeah, it looks like that's just a fender bender, if I'm quite honest. 2014. That's actually, yeah, pretty similar to my one, except I think this is probably the Gen 2. So again, you've got a good interior. Yeah, it's just general blurb. That's a good interior, loads of panels. This one's even got the headlights on it. You know, unfortunately, we do get a lot of this stuff in this country where things are like this 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and all this. But at least you can see there's actually quite a few. There's what, like, there's ones that actually have a real price on them. There's 1, 2, 3 here, just on a quick look, that have popped up here within the last week. Another thing we can do, of course, it's not just the Nissan Leaf. I just picked that because, again, it's going to be the most common one. Unfortunately, I don't think it lets me search by fuel type here on this. But if we do this, we might just try electric. See what that brings up. There's plenty of them there. And again, unfortunately, there's just aren't the real prices on them. They're probably just breaking them for parts. There, for example, there's a 2014 Renault Zoe, $3.5 grand. That's up in the last week there. As you can get a Tesla for yourself, but then it's just going to find rubbish, things that have electric windows and things like that. There's a Hyundai Kona, 6 grand. That's a bit rich. But yeah, it just shows you. And unfortunately, no, 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 no more BMWs. No, no, no. What do you? No, no, not going to do it. Okay, so there's a Renault Zoe. You know, this even without haggling a price or anything. 40 kilowatt hour battery in this one. That looks like, again, I don't know what's wrong with that, but oh yeah, a little bit of a shunt on the back, but everything's there. So again, you'd have loads of stuff to sell off. So again, just looking there, folks. Looks like I'm not totally gone around the twist yet. I am going around the twist, but I'm not there yet. So there's plenty of scope for that here, I think. Well, folks, I guess this is where we kind of wrap it up. Let's see, insanely, just how little money can we spend and do a proper EV conversion. On the subject, you're not going to believe what I just found. Check this out. We get you down here to the old change tray. That, I do not recognize that. It says 2. Anyone recognize this particular currency? Because we're going to have to, obviously, we're going to have to convert this to euros. I can't recognize, it says 2 km on it. I don't recognize any of that. There's a bird on this side of it. Maybe that'll make more sense to folks. There's another one. It says 100 kr, and there's a fish on that as well. Okay, so we got that one. And then we got this one. This one is weird. This says 10 pence. Oh, that's the UK 10p. Yeah, nice one. So, we've already made some money out of this car. While I'm here, there's a button here that has a kind of a partial circle around it off. Don't know what that does. Perhaps some of the viewers more familiar with the more up-to-date technology of our favorite automaker can tell me what A off means. But with that said, folks, it is definitely time to wrap up this extraordinarily long, extraordinarily boring talking video. There's a service sticker up here too. I'm going to have to do some archaeology on this machine fairly soon. I am attempting to to kind of get an idea if I like these comfort seats. I am mainly an M Sport seats guy. Dave got me into the E39 heated M Sport seats. Nice. But yeah, we'll something different about it. The old plastic Panzer, folks. Oh, I've sold the half tank of petrol that we have in there, so we're already making cash. Apart from the 10p and the other unknown currencies here we have here in the old change tray. So, that's it. I'll see you in the next episode. There won't be actually any conversion work on this for a while. As you can guess, I'm pretty flat out on a lot of other projects, but we'll keep you posted. And if you've any ideas for this madness, obviously telling me I'm doing it wrong, doesn't really count as an original idea, but by all means, fire away. So we'll see you then in the next Plastic Panzer update. Don't forget to give it a dislike. Don't share this nonsense with your friends. They won't like you for it. And do check out the links in the description, Open Inverter and so on. And there are some better channels than this in the description too, so feel free to watch them. Don't watch me. And we'll see you in the next episode. And until then, happy exclamation marking